You are indeed. Hello. Oh. Hello, everyone. Welcome to a Spartan line battle. Haven't done one of these for a while, so I thought I'd come in and say hello to these lovely fellows. And as you can see here, the 73rd. We're going to turn the game sounds down a little bit. And who's this fine musician to jab from the 73rd line? They've become rather devastated by the volleys coming in from these fine fellows. From the 78th, there's Colonel Alexander Ross leading them. And we've also got some additional Prussians moving back. That is the Spartans. There's Helot Elite. And there, of course, is the mighty Mr. Obelix. Now, over here, let's see. It is Prussians versus the Russians. More Russians in R32. And for those of you who are not aware, this is a map designed by Monsieur Obelix himself. And for those of you who aren't aware, this is a homage to the wild boars that were eaten in the Asterix and Obelix books, which is where he takes his name from. A personal favourite of my childhood as well. Yes, I am that old. Here is the 73rd Light, or 73rd. They are in the process of just having fun in the corn. So, what we're going to try and do is see what is going on with respect to everything that is occurring from the point of view of the strategy. So, if we follow, and that's going to annoy me in the top right. That is really going to annoy me. Never mind. Let's just come out of that. There we go. Am I bot? Broadcasting should be disabled. Sorry about that, guys. My apologies. I do not want to broadcast from Steam. So, here we go. As we follow out these guys through the cornfields. And you can see that the 78th are having a nice stand-up fight. And the Prussians are taking quite a lot of damage from the Russians. And you can see also the Russians losing a reasonable number of people. As Pigeon, unfortunately, has been taken down. And now you can see the Russians making their way through the fields. The Prussians are trying to flank them. And the Russians are making use of the cover of the crops to get out to the other side. But you can see they've lost quite a substantial number there. Now, let's have a look. As you can see, the 33rd also in this battle. Old friends of mine, always a pleasure to see them. And let's have a look, see if we can find some of these fine fellows from the... Oh, look, it's the 8TE. And there, of course, is Elite again. Now, let's see. We can look around. Oh my goodness, it's all the 8TE of the Spartans, as they're the ones who seem to be getting into the battle. So you can see the stabby goodness occurring there in the what's the word? The melee, I think, and the general scrum of melee that is Napoleonic Wars. And there we go. It looks like the 8th line has been taken down. More Russians being horribly murdered. As it looks like Frofro has just taken down one of the Spartans. Ouch! Dark Horse taking down Alfred Pennyworth. And again, it's all kicking off in the centre here under the gaze of the wild boar. And yeah, that kind of went pear-shaped very, very, very quickly. We'll be right back. Hello everyone, and welcome back to Line Battle Round 2. Here is the 8th line in spawn. The 73rd also. There's an R32. Look at the NR32 all lining up here. Look at this, don't they look fabulous? Absolutely glorious. And they'll be moving out. Now let's see if we can lock in on the Prussians. We can. Here we see a line of Prussians, the 61, or 61st I should say. There's the Spartans also out in their grey uniforms. There's the 78th in their fine black. Oh my goodness, look at the number of 78th. Holy crap. Alexander Ross with a fantastic turnout of the 78th. Look at this. And the Spartans next to them as well, followed up by their allies. Now, let's see what's going on. You see the numbers here. I'm here, conspicuous drumming. There's Obelix as well. And we'll look around to see what we can find. See if we can lock in on the 33rd. They should be here somewhere. 73rd, 59th, 59th. Ah, here we go. Here is the 33rd. Look at these fine fellows. Moving out under their commander. Oh, it looks like it's Purple Praetor today, with Lance Corporal Ali, and at the rear there is Lance Corporal John Stern. So let's see if we can get an idea of what's going on, because it looks like now the Russians are starting to move up on this right flank. They've crossed the river, but they could get into a difficult position. Now you can see here the NR-32 making a rapid reassessment of their position and actually backing off. You can see they lost a few of their number as they were trying to push up on this right side. But now they've got the support of the 73rd here, means that they can actually then perhaps move back and start pushing up heavily against this right flank and against the Prussians. But the problem is you can see they're going to be up against essentially three lines that probably match their numbers. And that's going to be a problem for them. So there's Matthew Ferguson from the 78th, and that's a serious amount of firepower from the 78th. As you can see, Alexander Ross checking through his spyglass, and George Smollett also there, making sure. Now, you can see here, now the Prussians are starting to push up on this left flank. They know the Russians are weak on the left, and that means they're going to start pushing up and actually start to cause some trouble. But the Russians may stand their ground. They're going to see if they can maybe move over to the right-hand side. And look at that. That's a huge line of Russians, and if they can get into their right position first against the Prussians, they will devastate them with a volley. But it doesn't look like they're going to be able to make it. Nope, they've decided to flee, and it looks like they aren't able to get the line in time. So very unfortunate for the Russians. They decide to back up and move away because they are in danger of losing their numbers from these guys. As you can see, look at this. These guys then move in, so the Russians decide to essentially cheese it in the opposite direction, which is smart play by these guys, or perhaps not by him. Never mind. The NR-32 continues to run in the opposite direction away from the advancing Prussians, but now the question I'm wondering is whether or not the Prussians see these fellows from the 33rd moving up on their right flank, because they're going to be in danger of being outflanked. As you can see, the NR-32 taking casualties now as the Prussians start to lay into them pretty seriously. So you can see the 78th doing a good job of trying to push those Russians back. But now you can see here the Prussians have spotted the Russians, and now they're going to be moving in probably behind them. And who's this? There's Lieutenant Colonel Gurkha, who's had to run away from his line. He's been left behind by his line, and now he's going to have to cheese it away while Recruit Hayes chases him down. So Hayes not able to get into a good position to kill him. And now you can see here a nice stand-up fight between the Prussians and the Russians. Along come Prussian reinforcements. Russians coming in on another side as well. The 33rd starting to move up, and this is not good for the Prussians. They are literally hemmed in. In move the Russians to do their stabby goodness. But fortunately, it looks like they might actually be outnumbered, because there seems to be more Prussians than Russians right now at this current moment. So the Spartans getting involved as well. And you can see here the stabby goodness occurring around this general battle. And you can see also other members of the 78th. There's Alexander Ross trying to defend himself as the Spartans get involved. And that was, there's Percy's being taken down, and there's Murtag as well. Also, they're trying to deal with these Russians. And there's not many Russians left, I have to say. And Mr. Stefan gets sliced. Good old Mr. Stefan. Haven't seen him for ages. Always wonderful to see from the 33rd. And Alexander Ross now moves back while they continue to engage the Russians, which are just across the river. So let's have a look at the numbers. 40 and 42. So it's still pretty even. And that attempt at a push by the Russians was not successful. So now that means that the Russians are going to have to move back, but they are going to be chased by the Prussians all the way. So let's just wait and see what happens as the NR-32 moves out, with Oberleutnant Hudu leading the way. And now you can see more stabby goodness occurring as Russians get involved, with Adjutant Tim from the 59th, pretty much one of the last people left standing. Correction, This is the last man left standing. Pikeman. So we're watching the pikey from the 59th, I should say. Let's see as he's fighting against 4 men. Can he do it? Unfortunately not. He received a short stab to the gizzards and is no more. So here we move in with the 73rd, who are engaging against the likes of the 78. The 78 now moving into an advantageous line position, maybe in a flanking. Yeah, they're going to start engaging those Russians. They take down 2 members of the 73rd as they flee. And look at that firepower coming in from the 78th. And you've got this small line here of Russians. The 8th line, as you can see, they are moving in to possibly get into an outflanking position onto these guys, and this is going to be interesting. Will they be able to make it in time? Can they form the line? No, they were not able to get into position quick enough. So those guys will have to back off, and this could be a problem for them. Nope, they've decided to cycle round that bush, round and round the mulberry bush, and now they're going to start pushing back. Now the question is whether or not the Prussians here will notice that they have Russians on their tail. Now the problem is, look at this. I think this is the NR32 now moving up, and they might be actually getting into a good position. We'll have to see. Yes, it is, of course, the doorstop heads of the NR32. And let's see. Ow. As Endra gets caught by a fine bullet coming in from Fusilier Sada. And now they're going to get into a position where they can fire back and use that devastating volley that the NR32 has proven to be very effective. Now, you can see also Russians moving closer to the Prussians. Here we go, the 73rd. Emrisi, there we go. Looks like the wrecked general's just been taken down. And some of these guys getting hit from the 78th. So you've got the 78th there. And you've got the 61st behind them. Now they're going to be lining up, and this is going to be a devastating volley if they manage to get the range right. But it looks like they won't be able to do it, and we might be talking about a massive melee battle as these guys are moving into line up. Can they do it in time? The Prussians have got the advantage. They've got the line quicker than the Russians. It's the sheer weight of numbers. They can't really fire until they're in a line. This is the problem that the Russians are going to have, and it's broken already. And there we go. The melee will begin as Obelix gets stabbed in the nuts. Poor Obelix. And now you can see over here on the other side you have Russians getting involved. More Russians. It's the Russian Zerg, ladies and gentlemen, pouring in against the likes of the Prussians. And you can see the Prussians doing their best to defend themselves as Patrick Thompson gets shot in the face. And it looks like Finley McNabb from the 78th is going to decide to cheese it with the rest of his team. As you can see, 2 Prussians over on the right-hand side defending themselves. There's Farnatesi and Clickenforce. Oh, a fine stab, sir, into Dasher. And finally he gets taken over and taken down. And there we go, Clickenforce gets taken, or Clickenforce gets taken down. And now the remaining members of the Prussian, 9 versus 10, so it's literally all to play for. They could still win it as George Smollett gets finished off. Simon Ross, Alexander Ross, the colonel of the 78th, has gone down as well. And 6 versus 7, literally, it is on a knife edge right now, boys and girls. It could go any way. All you need is that advantageous stab, and there may be it. 5 versus 5. And there we go. Down goes another Prussian. And it looks like Nab managed to kill a teammate even. Theodore Ross, one of 4 Prussians remaining. Currently being attacked by multiple Russians. You've got another 3 Prussians coming on the other side. Down goes another Russian. This could be the moment that they're waiting for the Prussians to take the advantage. Let's see. And another kill into the Russian. And there we go. It looks like we've only got a few Russians remaining. Fusilier Issa and Alfred Pennyworth. Oh, a fine stab, Alfred, into Mr. McNabb. He is no more. 2v2. This is tense, ladies and gentlemen. And it's mano a mano going on. Prussian and Russian against each other. Are they going to try and divide their forces? A little bit of bait and switch going on. And down goes one of the Russians. And this is now 1 Russian, 2 Prussians. Can he do it? Can the Russian do the damage? Can he make these two guys kill each other, which would be somewhat amusing? Oh, a fine stab into John Jones. Issa managing to do it. It's a 1v1, ladies and gentlemen. Russia and Prussia. Look at this. Fantastic. These two guys going out against each other. Theodore Ross, and a fine kill into Theodore Ross by Fusilier Issa. A fine, fine kill. Wow. Fantastic fight. And we'll move on to the next round. Okay, so after that intense battle, right down to the wire, we're back with the next round. And we follow as the Prussians move out down the roadway. Rather, not very pathed roadway, but never mind. But let's follow and see if we can get an idea of the general strategy that these guys are going to be employing. So you can see the Prussians there moving out on the right flank. And it's quite a significant... Well, I mean, you know, there are the Russians. So I would say, yeah, that's definitely a right flank maneuver by the Prussians. You've got a large section of line of there, Prussians. And if we look on the left flank, there is literally no Prussians at all. But the fighting has begun, as it looks like on the right flank, you do have some Russians who are actually trying to stop the Prussian push on the right-hand side, while the other Russians here, no doubt that fine snaking line will be the NR-32. You can see here, look at that. They're going to be moving in behind the Prussians. Now, the Prussians will have to be careful, because otherwise they are going to get out. Now, they might get outmaneuvered, but it's possible that we could end up all day just going round and round and round. So, it's whether or not they can get anybody in the right location. You can see the Prussians pushing back against the Russians in the centre roadway. And you can see them starting to move back. They're going to be moving back to the support of their other lines. And now you can see the Prussians actually getting involved, as Recruit Bennett manages to catch a bullet from the 8th line. So that'll be the 8th line there down in the centre of the screen. You've now got another line moving in with a little bit of support so that they can actually push back against the Prussians. You've also got this Russian line moving up on the right-hand side to then engage the Prussians. The Prussians have seen that, and they've started pushing back against that right flank. So it's going to be interesting to see how things turn out, as you've got another snaking line of Russians moving through the cornfields, trying to hide their movements if they possibly can against the enemy Prussians, who are now moving over to the left side. And you can see them moving closely down towards the road there, as the Russians and Prussians are getting into a stand-up fight. And it looks like the Russians may have got the advantage here, as pushing up on the right flank starts to collapse, the Prussians pulling back. And also here it looks like the Russians doing a good job of holding the centre, as the Prussians start to stream through here and past the windmill and into the cornfields to get a rather nice outflanking position onto the Russians. The Russians are now going to start to move out of the way, trying to dodge those bullets, dodging left and right to try and stay out of the way. They're going to actually stop and form a line to then fire back against the 78. So you can see here the NR-32 firing back. Oh, that fusillade, look at that. A fine volley, but the other guys are in cover. And now this could be a problem for the NR-32, because you can see they've now got two lines up against them. One on the right flank, one in the centre. And you've also now got another line over on the left-hand side. As a result of that, the NR-32 has decided to pull back. They really can't compete against that sheer number of bullets coming in their direction, especially as they have no cover to protect them. So, however, this could be an interesting situation, because now we've got a serious run of Russians coming up on the right flank. Now you've got a small section of the Prussians who are looking to try and stop them, but they're going to get outflanked at any second. There we go, you can see the outflanking position there, and now this is a bad situation. It looks like it might be the team kill, as it looks like Bellic the dude just got taken out as well. Watermelon just got sliced, and now you can see here the other members of the Russians and Prussians still continuing to fight, while the Russians move off over to the right hand side nearby this bush and trees and all the rest of it to try and head off the Prussian push, which is exactly what they're doing. Can they get into the lineup quick enough? They jump in to try and avoid those bullets, yes, but no, they're not going to make it in time. So you can see here, it looks like it may be the 78th, and they're going to try and get the advantage, get that lineup. There we go, one stop. The Prussians have stopped. Now the Russians have stopped. Who's going to be able to do it in time? Are they going to actually manage to do it? Oh dear, that might have been a mistake by the Prussians. Oh, that fire coming into the 78th from the 33rd. And look at that, absolutely devastating the 78th with that fine volley of fire. And now they're going to be getting into the melee battle going on seriously, as you can see here between the two. But you've also got Prussians moving up to try and cover their teammates. You've got more Prussians moving in on this particular section. So you can see there the 61st, and that's going to be a problem for them. But also reinforcements moving up. 73rd. And at the back here, the 8th line. So now you can see here the 73rd moving up, charging into battle in against what will be looking like the Spartans. It is, there's Hector. And now you can see the Spartans going up against the other members of the 73rd, and now the melee begins, while around them Russians and Prussians also fight it out on other sections. As now you can see here, looks like the Spartans are taking fire from this lovely Russian line. It's the NR32. They've regrouped and moved back, and now they're doing their best to shoot at the Prussians in the far side here. They won't fire at these guys who are doing all the battling. As you can see, it looks like a few members of the Spartans remain alive. You can see Bobby. So you can see here, Bobby, with a fine hat and a somewhat suspicious ponytail, is trying to defend himself against the onslaught of horrible Russians. And you can see here, one of said horrible Russians, musician Sven, from the 73rd Lights. A fine stab, sir, and a fine catch of the bayonet with your face. And down goes the remaining one, and more fire coming in there from the NR32. Look at these guys up on the hill. And now these guys are going to move in, and there we go. There is the stabby goodness into the 78th. Colonel Alexander Ross trying to do his duty. Oh, he kills one of the enemy. And you can see Oberleutnant Hoodoo going after Smollett with the sword. And he looks like Monsieur Smollett there. Or no, sorry, Alexander Ross doing a fantastic job of killing lots of people. And look at this fantastic stuff going on. And a slice into the back of Alexander Ross. So, let's see. Numbers 5 versus 7. And it's close again. Wow, it's really good. And here we have the NR32 up against Zoking. Fusiliers Izoking from the 61st. Can he force a team kill? 6v1. No, he can't. As Izoking is finished off. And we move on to the next round. And so we return for the next round. Now, as you can see here, Russians moving out or getting set up. There's Frofro from the 8th line. Ups Pluto. Who's this fine fellow? Mr. Wheezy. And who's the man with the fisticuffs? It's Ben Martin at the back. Recruit Ben Martin. And now you can see these guys moving out. So, it has been down to the wire for pretty much every single round, which is really, really good under the circumstances, especially considering that the Prussians are outnumbered by about 20 men. Near odds, yeah, 14 men, technically. 14 or 15 men. So, but those 14 or 15 bullets could make all the difference. So, as you can see, Russians moving. Prussians on the move. This lovely pond in the centre, where we'll take the camera for a quick wash. Splosh, splosh, splosh. There we go, got to keep the camera lens clean. And in comes fire from the NR-32. And looks like they're going up against the Spartans. There's Obelix, who happens to be standing behind a rather advantageously placed tree. And now you can see here, oh, look at that. Fine shot from Hypnotist, or whatever the hell he's called. God damn it. As you can see, they lose a few of their number. And now they run into the cornfields in order to protect their movements, which makes sense. But they will be moving to catch up. As you can see, there's a little bit of periscoping going on from Obelix, so we can see where his teammates are moving to, and this is where these guys are. So let's go and have a look at these guys and see what's going on. So there's the 61st. So we're going to move back and get an idea, if we can, of what's going on. So here you can see Russians, Prussians, more Prussians, and you can see the Prussians moving out there, and there we go. It looks like there's actually a battle going on between the Prussians and the Russians over here already. And look at that. Oh my goodness, so much murder occurring. And there's a little bit of melee going on, and this appears to be, let's see if we can find out what it is. As you can see, melee occurring over there. And it's the Russians, of course. Now, it looks like one group of Prussians decided to move up, and here it is, the 78th. They decided, oh my goodness, Arthur Mackay, or Mackay, deciding to, how the hell has this man survived so long against so many Russians? Come on, Russians, what's wrong with you people? Oh, a fine turning stab, but it didn't survive long enough. And it looks like the 78th decided to actually go down the opposing side. Whoops-a-daisy. And they've come a cropper as a result of that. As you can see, more fire coming in onto these Prussian gentlemen. Look at those hats. Oh, the hats. Oh, my goodness. Oh, look at this. The 59th with serious hat goings on. Don't they look beautiful? There's Rain Shadow and Hypno as well. Lovely, lovely hattage. And Grenadier Sam. And now you can see them moving up, and they're going up against these guys who immediately decide to turn and run in the opposite direction. Understandably, they weren't able to get their line together quick enough. But now, look at this. This is where it gets dangerous. This is where you can see the Spartans moving in from another direction. And now the NR-32 are in danger of being... oh dear. In danger of being outflanked. And now the Spartans move in. Look at this. Fantastic stuff going on here between the Spartans and the Russians. While, meanwhile, standing in the background, you have the 59th. There's Kincaid the Great. Now moving out. Now they've supported their teammates. And hopefully the Spartans, as far as they're concerned, will manage to survive. But you can see over here, who's this man fighting several people? We don't know, because it just moved us away from him, which is slightly disappointing. Let's see who this man is, who's doing a good job. Oh, that was authentic. Finally taken down. No, correction, Odysseus, the fine hero of the Spartans. Finished off finally. And now the reinforcements from the NR-32 moving in. Oh, heavens. Oh, Percy's. Percy's running away. I think they're offended by his hat. That's a distinct possibility. But the trouble is, he's going to be running towards yet more Russians. Yep, that's exactly... oh dear, no, he's turning, he's got to turn. Look at this. Oh dear, oh dear. And he turns and goes for a stab. Is he going to make it? And there's, of course, the inevitable team kill. And there we go, ladies and gentlemen. That has been the end of another round. And we'll be right back with more. Yeah, this is what happens in warm-ups and in between rounds. This is This is why you gotta love the Napoleonic War community and the Mountain Blade community, because they're so completely stupid. And Lieutenant Colonel Gurkha just got kicked for team killing. Oh dear. And so, after a slightly eventful period between, oh dear, period between rounds, we see the Russian camp. As in, this is where they are residing, not Russian camp for any other reasons before you guys say anything, because I know what you're like. I know how your brain works. It works probably just as well as mine does anyway. Who's this fellow? Ah, fine Fusilier Issa. Hero of round number 1. Or was it 2? I can't remember. Anyway. Let's see. We move over as Russians are moving along the left flank. Or their right flank, I suppose, and the Prussians left. Look at these fine fellows. Don't they look fantastic? Look at this. Look at these lovely fellows. We watch them go past the camera. With Tail End Charlie at the end. Who is Tail End Charlie? Mac Bacon! Invitational Mac Bacon. We approve of the name, Mr. Bacon. Oh, God. Oh, my goodness. Prussians on the tail of Russians. Run, Bacon. You're going to get sliced otherwise. This is not going to go well for you, Mr. Bacon. As now you can see the Spartans also moving up as well. And in goes the fire. Oh, my goodness. Massive fire going in. And this is a pretty serious push coming in here from the Prussians. And poor old Komar PL being taken down again. Oh, mein Gott. Poor Komar. He is quite literally in a coma again. And now you can see here the Russians defending against his very, very aggressive Prussian push, I should say. And here you can see over on the side here, Alexander Ross leading his fine fellows as Marissi gets shot in the head. William Crowe catches a bullet. And now look at this. The Spartans moving out on the left there. And the 59th also now moving up. Who's this? Who is this musician? Let's have a look here. Musician Michel. Hello, young sir. Fine drumming work, sir. Fine drumming. We heartily approve of battlefield drumming. And now you can see also the Russians getting involved in that lovely little bayonet dozy-do with the Prussians over here on the riverside. And you can see soon the river will flow with the blood of dead Prussians and dead Russians as the battles continue. As some of these guys have already, unfortunately, succumbed to the bayonet-y fun that has been occurring. As Tim seems somewhat surprised that he's died. Looks like we've lost Phoenix from the hoplites. Or the hoplites, if you use the Greek pronunciation. There's Oberleutnant Voodoo, or Hoodoo, I should say, sorry, from the R32. And they are shooting multiple members of the Prussians. So we shall pull back and find out what's going on as the Prussian line moves up to try and engage the Russians. The Russians now pull back, and looks like another line as well. Going up. Oh dear, Gurkha has just, the colonel has just killed Hoodoo. The Oberleutnant, that's a definite demotion. If you get stabbed by your colonel, that can't be good. And now you can see here the tete-a-tete and fun and games between the Prussians and the Russians. Now, over on the other side of the world, 61E. Oh, Colonel Scottish and the 73rd taken down by the 61st. Fusilier Authentic. And these guys probably thought they were going to be okay as the more stabbing occurs from the 78th into the 80 line, or the 8th line. And here is Pina Colada 1, Private Pina Colada 1 from the 73rd line. These guys now moving out, obviously under the command There's Captain Doofs, and there is Lieutenant Colonel Lord K. Or Lord, or maybe it's Lord DK, as in Denmark. I don't know. Could be wrong. It's probably just Lord K. Anyway, these guys are now going to start moving up to try and help out their Prussian friends, which is the Spartans. And you can see now the Spartans are being taken down as this last man trying to defend himself. It's Odysseus, the hero of the Spartans. And now the corpse. And now you can see here, from the 73rd, Uncoloured Stone, Invitational Uncoloured Stone. Great name, by the way. Do like that. And here's Creed as well from the 73rd. And these guys are trying to defend themselves. Let's have a look at the numbers, 5 and 13. And yeah, it's looking pretty good for the Russians. Looking very bad for the Prussians. Looking even worse for the Prussians. Where is John Stern? Where is he? Oh, God. Here he is. Lance Corporal John Stern from the 73rd Light is about to take on 10 members of the Russian army. So, they're calling for him to surrender. And he's not surrendering. He refuses. He comes out with the bayonet. And the stabby goodness begins, ladies and gentlemen. Mano a mano, or sort of mano versus 10 other manos. We'll have to wait and see. Ow, stabbed in the back and killed by Recruit Hayes. Recruit Hayes probably ending up getting a promotion as a result of that. And we are on to the last round, ladies and gentlemen. And we return on the last round of the night. Now, let us see. Oh, hello. Well, quite. The fine Prussian army moving out. 78th there. And also... Ah, look at this. Obelix. And there is Marissi from the 73rd. And there obviously is Colonel Scottish, commanding officer. And here... yet more Prussians. Kincaid the Great from the 59th. So, now bear in mind that previously the Prussians have gone down on that right flank. However, the last round we had, they went down the left flank, ran into a load of Russians and kind of got wiped out. So, we're going to have to wait and see what happens, whether or not the Russians... Now, the Russians are moving up this left side, what is their right flank, and they're moving in significant numbers, and that's probably the NR-32, based on the size of the snaky line. Of course it is. Roland Hun. Oberst Roland Hun, no less. Look at these lovely fellows. As you can see, the battle, and there's Purple Praetor at the back. And there also, following in behind that line, there is the man himself, the wonderful Colonel Mr. Stefan. Hello, Colonel Mr. Stefan. Always a pleasure to see the 33rd on the battlefield. Now, let's see. As you can see here, battles are occurring, but the Russians don't seem to be that troubled about it. Oh dear, he might be. And now you can see the Russians lining up against these Prussians who are in the centre. And there's Private Bastel. And look at this. This is going to be... It's going to be a melee very quickly. Yep, that's exactly what it's going to be. As a line breaks up for the inevitable melee as Ben Martin takes down the 59th Private Broman. But now you can see additional Russians moving in. Additional Prussians moving in. As Stoffel Dark Horse is taken down as well. Pigeon also murdered horribly. And Recruit General also. And there we go. No, they've murdered the musician. The 59th musician has gone down. And now moving up here, it looks like Spartan Hoplite Victor, or Hector, sorry, has been taken down. And Fright of Life has just had the fright of his life as he got stabbed by a bayonet from his own teammate. So now you can see here as the Prussians are getting involved with the melee. There's Bear Grylls, Survivalist, and Bayonetti King. We shall see if he actually has earned that title. Let's see. He hasn't, no. As Kincaid the Great gets taken down. Oh dear. Flamingo Lord, I think he has just killed his colonel. Whoops-a-daisy. That's not going to go down well. So, let's see. The Spartans. No, correction, the 73rd. Lord K. What's this, the other side? More Prussians? Surely not, I hear you say. Yes, the 78th. Oh dear. -1 now as Alexander Smith gets a bullet. As now you can see here the NR-32 firing back against the 78th. Hauptmann Martin now moving out, as you can see these fine fellows. There's Hoodoo with his spyglass. And it looks like they're going to move into the corn. As it looks like Mr. Stefan manages to catch a bullet. And Trooper Pigeon says hello. So. Oh, more fire coming into the members of the 33rd. They're making a run for it. Corporal Swoop trying to cheese it as quickly as he can. And it looks like the 33rd have made it away. But it's not going to be for long. There we go. They're not going to be able to form the line. Oh, they maybe nearly did it. Nearly did it. And now you can see here, this is the stabby goodness going on between the Russians and the Prussians. The Prussians probably have the numeric advantage, I should say. So we shall just have to wait and see how it turns out. As you can see, the 33rd, it looks like Sticklitz has just been killed. There's Lance Corporal Ali also dying horribly. More Russians taking down George Smollett from the 78th. That was Gurkha. And over here on the other side, who's this? There's KGM Luke from the 33rd, defending against 2 Prussians, getting stabbed once, getting stabbed twice from Alexander Ross. And it looks like the Russians are on the back foot now. Let's see what's going on, as there's McFrost. McFrost defending himself over here. Purple Praetor going up against the commanding officer of the Prussians. And it looks like, oh, look at that, a fine stab from Alexander into his enemy. And Purple Praetor could be in a lot of trouble. In fact, I think it's fair to say he is in a lot of trouble. And that bayonet kind of proves the point. Quite literally. Both figuratively and literally. As now, more murder is occurring. Oh my goodness, all those bodies. Uh-oh, look out. Loads of Prussians after a poor Russian. And there we go, ladies and gentlemen. The Prussians. So it looks like we're going to have a fun round. We'll be right back. There we go, they're doing melee only. So I'm going to come in and conspicuously drum for them. Ah! Oh, God, frighten the crap out of me, man. Let's follow Obelix. A bunch of nutters, a lot of them. I'm being mobbed. I'm being mobbed. Get off me, you buggers. Oh, what a bunch of numpties. Oh, dear. Oh, a bunch of numpties. So we're moving up the centre of the road. And a bit of conspicuous drumming will occur. Oh, God. Let's stay with these Spartan fellows. That's it. Is that it? Oh, God, really? Okay. We're moving into... Oh dear, it's failed horribly. What's going on? Where is everyone? Here we go. Conspicuous drumming. Conspicuous drumming. Oh, god damn it. They killed me. I've been murdered horribly by a guy in a very, very flamboyant hat. Oh, musicians get no love in this game. They really don't. Oh dear. Look at this. This is fantastic. Oh god. Completely ridiculous. Oh, it's a hand grenade. It's a hand grenade. Look out, everyone. It's Obelix. Admin a boost. Admin a boost for Obelix. Blatant admin a boost and a self-kill as well. GG to everyone. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for watching, guys. I hope you've enjoyed. And we'll see you again for more Napoleonic Wars. Take care, everyone.